Hello everybody, my name is Roger and welcome to my channel, Rogers Reads. So today I'm doing my September TBR, all the books that I hope to read in the month of September. So this one I'm going to try to catch up with my advanced reader copies, ARCs, and copies of books that were sent to me. I've fallen a little bit behind in that, so I hope to do that this month. But also a couple of books that I purchased too I'm going to be reading. So the first book that I'm going to hope to read this month is called Edge of the Known Bus Line. And this is written by James R. Kapinski. So this is about a woman whose daily commute takes an abrupt turn when she's dropped off in a shocking town in the edge of the known bus line. So the people there are super creepy. They live in huts, they eat rats, they even eat human flesh. And they belong to this religious cult that believes that magic bus routes will someday set them free. So our main character searches for a way out of this surreal hellhole while dredging up a few nightmares of her own. So this sounds really intriguing. This sounds like a fun little thing. It's more of a novella, isn't it? That's 99 pages. So looking forward to reading this one. So the next book I plan to read this month is a book entitled An Unwanted Guest by Sherry Lapina. So this book takes place at Mitchell's Inn, a resort in the Catskills, nestled deep into the woods where people go for romantic weekend getaways, or do some cross-country skiing, or snowshoeing, or just relaxing. So the weather takes a turn for the worse, and the blizzard cuts off electricity, thus cutting off all communication and contact with the outside world. Soon though, one of the guests turns up dead, but it looks like it was an accident. However, when a second guest dies, the remaining guests start to panic as they are being picked off one by one. So this sounds like a really fun thriller, and I'm looking forward to it. So the next book I'm going to be reading in September is a book entitled Rule by Ellen Goodlett. They actually have this in ebook format. So in this book, the king is dying, rebellion is brewing, and his heir, the heir to the throne, has just been murdered. Now he reaches out to three women, all with kind of a dodgy past and supposedly dark secrets. So when the king summons the girls, they arrive expecting arrest or maybe even execution. Instead, they learn a surprising truth, that they are his illegitimate daughters, and one of them must become the new heir. But somebody knows their secrets, and that someone will stop at nothing to keep the sisters from gaining the throne. So there's supposedly magic, mystery, and blackmail to this story. So it sounded very intriguing, so I'm looking forward to reading it. The next book I'm reading is also an ebook format, and it's entitled Body Swap by Sylvia McNichol. So this follows 15-year-old Haley, who gets killed by a hurricane SUV. So she then finds herself in an otherworldly carnival of sorts, where she meets and argues with the 82-year-old driver, Susan, the one who killed her. So both end up returning to life, but there's one catch: they've swapped bodies. So now Haley has wrinkled skin and achy joints, while Susan deals with 15-year-old stuff like crushes. So this follows the relationship as they struggle with technology, medications, and each other's clothing tastes. But there is a race against the clock issue here. They are unlimited time, so they have to end up working with each other and actually end up liking each other, from what I understand. So this story sounded really intriguing to me. I actually used to love body swap. The body swap trope, movies like 18 Again, Big, Freaky Friday, and several others. So that's why this story really intrigued me. So I'm looking forward to it. The next book I'm going to be reading this month, hopefully, is entitled Runebreaker by Alex R. Kaler. So this is a sequel to Runebinder, which I really liked. I did a review of actually on this channel. Now I don't know anything at all about this book, which is the way I want it, because I wanted to be surprised going in. I enjoyed the first book, like I mentioned in this series, so I'm really looking forward to diving into this one. So the next book I hope to read is entitled A Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. So this is a thriller. So 7-year-old Wen and her parents are vacationing at a remote cabin when one afternoon a large stranger unexpectedly appears in the driveway, named Leonard, I do believe. So Leonard is the largest man that little Wen has ever seen, but he's young and friendly and immediately wins her over. So Leonard and Wen talk and play until Leonard stands up, abruptly apologizes, and tells Wen, "None of what's going to happen is your fault." So then more strangers arrive at the cabin. I think there are 3 of them. And so the little girl sprints inside to warn her parents. But Leonard calls out, "Your dads won't want to let us in, Wen, but they have to. We need your help to save the world." I think this is kind of an apocalyptic book with themes of paranoia, sacrifice, and survival, in which the fate of the family and quite possibly all of humanity are entwined. So I've heard this is a delightful thriller, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. This was quite a few people's TBR lists. So the next book I hope to read this month is a book entitled Less by Andrew Sean Greer. So this was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize and follows a failed novelist, Arthur Less, who's about to turn 50. A wedding invitation arrives in the mail. His boyfriend of the past 9 years is engaged to someone else and is inviting him to the wedding. Now, he can't say yes because that would be way too awkward, and he can't say no because that would look like defeat. So on his desk are a series of invitations to half-baked literary events around the world. So he decides to accept them all and heads off on a tour around the world with all sorts of zany misadventures. So I cannot wait to read this one, as I've heard a lot of great things about it. So the next book I hope to read this month is a book entitled Washington Black by Essie Dugan. Not sure how to pronounce the person's name. So this follows Washington Black, an 11-year-old field slave who is chosen to live in the quarters of a new master. But his new master is not what Washington expects him to be. He is actually quite eccentric, a naturalist, an explorer, an inventor, an abolitionist who has an obsession with perfecting a winged flying machine. So Washington is thus initiated into the man's world, a world of wonders. But I do believe that something horrible happens one night, and the 2 men end up on the run with a bounty placed on Washington's head. So they end up on this incredible, harrowing journey. So this sounds really intriguing, and I've heard a lot of great things about it. Actually, this was shortlisted for the Man Booker Award, so sounds like fun. Another book that I'm reading, or should I say listening to, is The President is Missing by James Patterson and Bill Clinton. This is one that I already started on Audible, and I still have about 10 hours to go, I think. So The President is Missing is about a national threat, the likes of which this country has never seen before. So as a result, uncertainty and fear grip the nation. There's whispers of cyber terrorism and espionage and even a traitor right in the cabinet. Even the president himself becomes a suspect, and then he disappears from public view. Hence the title, The President is Missing. So the story takes place over a 3-day period, and the novel sheds a light on the inner workings and the vulnerabilities of our own nation. So I've heard good things about this, and I'm enjoying it thus far. But you know, I'm not really a James Patterson fan. Although, to be fair, I only read one book by James Patterson, and I absolutely hated it. But given that Bill Clinton was a co-author of this, I decided to give this one a try. But like I said, I'm enjoying it thus far, and I'm looking to see where it goes. So hopefully I'll finish it this month. And the last book I'm going to try to read in September is book number 5 of the Mortal Instruments series. I do want to finish up this series this year. I've put it aside for the past couple of months. But I only have 2 books to go, and they're typically fast reads. So I hope to get that done this month. Now, if you've read any of these books and ended up hating them, please don't let me know in the comments. I'm actually quite excited about all of them, and I don't want my excitement to get ruined. You know, it's happened to me so many times when I've talked about a book that I just can't wait to read, and someone said, oh God, I hated that book, it was garbage. So this really tends to dampen my enthusiasm, even though I know that we all don't have the same taste. So if you hated a book, wait until after I finished it to voice your opinion. Try not to ruin it for me. So how about you? What are you reading in September? Anything interesting on your TBR list? Let me know in the comments. So that is it for this video. I think that's it. As always, I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of your support, and I will talk to you in the next video. Roger and out.